All right, welcome back, everybody. Hope everybody's having a good day. I'm actually filming at night here, so it's the tail end of the day. I just wanted to do a quick greenhouse tour here, as well as show you some of my new equipment that I recently created, I guess you could say, and added to the greenhouse. So get right to it. So I guess the first thing I wanted to show was my new little fountain over here. So I recently created this little fountain. It's fairly simple. Let's see if I can go ahead and give an overhead view. So as you can see there, it's got the pump over here. Basically the water gets pumped up through these tubes, and inside these tubes I have a bunch of little holes. Basically drains out back into the tub here. You can see this is just a plant pot that I used. I want to say it's probably about 14 inches by maybe 12 inches. So it's probably about I don't know, a few gallons of water in there. Good enough for what I need. And then I have this thing controlled on a thermostat over here with a Hygger titanium heater. So right now I keep the water set points 88 degrees. So the thinking is, and what it's been doing, is actually keeping it nice and humid within the greenhouse. Especially I have this fairly close to the window here, as you can see. So I want to make sure that everything stays, I would say, pretty humid in here overall. And also helps offset any heat that I may have to use with that little heater down here. So right now the temperature is about 30 degrees outside, and inside here it's no problem 67 degrees with like 71% humidity. So, and that's 30 degrees outside, that is in Fahrenheit. So it seems to definitely be doing a good job. I put a couple of the plants here as well, you can see hanging on. And these are some of the warmer growers. They also like high humidity. So because the water itself is evaporating due to the heat factor, it just gives that little added benefit of humidity. So yeah, everything seems to be doing pretty well. You see there's a bulbo here in bloom. I think the blooms are actually on their way out. This is a bulbophyllum legissimum. So couple other orchids over here in bloom. This is another Fred Clark SVO orchid. So you can see that. Look at those nice little red flowers. I think they were slightly fragrant. Other than that, just keeping an eye on things, making sure the leaves are staying good. I'm kind of learning as time goes on what I can and cannot grow better. For some reason I seem to have a harder time growing Oncidiums. I know that this is a cooler variety Oncidium. Even though I'm keeping it in a clay pot, it just doesn't seem to be doing as well. So definitely have a lot better luck with Cattleyas and things like that. So so here's another one I'll show you. This I got at one of our orchid auctions I bid on, and you can see the nice little spike on there. This is a Phalaenopsis schilleriana. So that's a beautiful plant, and I keep it hanging like this. Because in nature, that's how they like to hang. It's been doing really well, so I can't wait to see the flowers from that. This is Dendrobium Parisiae rubra. This one smells like raspberries, and it blooms typically in the spring, maybe late spring. Nice thick pseudobulbs, and oh man, that thing it's one of my favorite orchids. All right, there's a Grammatophyllum. It's doing really well. Take a look at those fat bulbs. This plant's going to be a beast in a few years. It's already, I would say, 2 feet, 2.5 feet, some of those leaves. So give it a little more time, it'll be even bigger. And over here, this is a cool little one. Look at all the little white blooms. This one's fragrant. And this one is Dendrobium I'm sorry, Neobenthamia gracilis. Probably butchered that name, but nice, cool little grass-like growth with beautiful white flowers. What else? Pink phalaenopsis there. Some more stuff up there. Actually, I think my spectabile. See if we can get in here. I can show you that. My Dendrobium spectabile is actually blooming. A little hard to get up in there. You can see there the blooms are still opening up. Really, really cool looking flowers. So this thing's been a faithful bloomer, I would say at least 3 years in a row for me now. And again, the plant got beastly looking. You can see these canes are a good 2.5 feet. I actually had to have my son help me replant this thing, and it was a beast. So, all right. What else do we have? So moving around to the other side here, we have, oh, I know what I could show you. All right, so over here, I have my RO system. I decided to give it a shot and hook one of these up. My water overall was not bad here. It's actually well water, comes over from the border in Pennsylvania. The water is pretty clean, I'd say, by my standards. I think it measures anywhere from 90 to 110 parts per million TDS, so that's pretty good overall. But you know, I decided to clean it up, see if cleaner water quality remove any of the unknowns. Again, even though I try to fertilize around, I don't know, 250 to 400 parts per million between the fertilizer and the different additives, I still wanted to remove some of the unknowns that, you know, they put in probably through water treatment or just, you know, natural sediment, especially coming out of the aquifers there in Pennsylvania. So as you can see here, pretty straightforward. I have connected into the main line there, again, using shark pipe fittings. Ran the piping over, comes down the wall here. You can see the main shutoff right here. Again, more shark pipe fittings. These things are great. I mean, for me, I'm not a guy who would sweat pipe and do all kinds of crazy plumbing like that, but working with these shark fittings, they are absolutely fantastic, and they're super easy to use. I think they have like a 25-year guarantee, and I mean, I've used these for other things within the house, never had an issue, so I will definitely continue to use these. In any case, so over here we have basically 3 chambers containing different types of filters. The first one the water comes into is the carbon filter. Then this is the RO filter. And this is a sediment filter. So I believe in order, as you can see here, it actually comes in through the carbon, then the sediment, and then the final RO filter. And out of here will be the actual clean water right here. So there's also a wastewater line. I connected a couple different valves in line here just to control it from completely draining out in between, disconnecting from the water barrel itself that I fill up. So yeah, it seems to be doing a job. Again, I didn't use the DI filter option, so that being eliminated, it gets it down to about 1 or 2 parts per million, which again is good enough for me. And if I were to add a DI cartridge in there, I believe that gets it down to pretty much 0. But again, I don't need it to be that perfect. So, but yeah, I would recommend anybody considering trying to rule out any sort of you know, contaminants in the water, or just, you know, worried about adding fertilizer to the water because the TDS measurement is already fairly high, I would definitely consider getting one of these. So you are in charge of the TDS and what you put in the water, and not your water company. So there you go. So that's a good shot of that. So I'll be showing some results, I guess, of the plants as time goes on. Hopefully it makes an even greater difference. Again, water isn't everything, but it is definitely a huge component of growing quality orchids, and that is definitely my focus. So I originally had a pond pump hooked up, which I'm now using in that garden fountain. But I went on Amazon and I'm thinking to myself, like, there's got to be a better option to hook up some sort of a pump in here, in the water barrel. And I actually found this setup here. I'll open the lid in a second, but it was actually specifically made for a garden hose. It's a pump with a metal rod. The pump is at the base. It's got an auto shut off float and hooks up real easy to here. You got on and off valve there. Of course, I still control it from over here with the power on a switch. But let me go ahead and open this. It's still pretty full, so I don't know how much you can see, but you can see the pump in there is at the base, and it's got a little float switch. And yeah, it works fantastic. If you look close, you can actually see the float switch on the left there, just to the left of the pump. But yeah, this thing, it's the real deal. Puts out a good amount of pressure. No issues with that, which I'm really happy about, because the last one, I think it had a pump head height of 8 feet. This one here is like 26 feet, so the pressure overall is a lot better. So, yep, if you're considering any sort of pump like that for a rain barrel you have and you want it to easily connect to a garden hose, I would definitely recommend this off Amazon. I did have to get another connector at Home Depot here. This is the garden hose fitting adapter, because it comes just with a quick disconnect, which was a little disappointing, but you know, for $6 you can get a couple of these quick disconnects and no big deal. All right, what else? Over here is another orchid that I won at an orchid auction. This is going to get orange flowers, and this is a Laelia cinnabarina times Laelia angerarii. If you can see the tag there, a little hard to see. So you can see here the spikes are coming in, really long spikes too. I would say these things are approaching 18 inches. All right, what else? A couple little cooler growers over here, some other stuff back there. So overall, everything's doing pretty well. Just overwintering here and cut back on the watering a little bit, but still keeping up with that mostly. You know, fairly high, because things are still pretty thirsty here. I don't cut the light back much more. I'm at 12 hours now. Where I'm at in the US, the daylight is going to be almost at its minimum here by the end of December here, which will be about 9 hours and 20 minutes. So I still make sure it gets about 12 hours of daylight within the greenhouse here. And as you can see there, you can probably see the Christmas lights there outside. The window there also gets some southern sun coming in, so gives that little extra boost to stuff here on the wall. Yeah, so everything's doing great. All right. Well, like I said, if anybody has any questions, be sure to hit me up. Any comments, feedback, always greatly appreciated. And thank you for watching my channel. Have a great night, all.